Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Understanding Incognito Mode. My name is Jacob Hiley. I am the Senior SEO Specialist with Wise Digital Partners, and today I will be myth-busting private browsing, talking about some misconceptions around Incognito Mode, and also be bringing up how the SEO department with Wise Digital Partners actually conducts accurate research in light of what I am going to be presenting to you. There are many people who have misconceptions about using incognito mode in private browsing to determine how they are ranking and how Google perceives them. And so the goal of this video is to help you understand what incognito mode can actually do and what it cannot do. So without further ado, let's get right into this here. So first off, what is incognito? Well, to put it plainly, it is a mode by which the retention of information is essentially not even happening. So you open the tab in Google, and now your browsing history, your cookies and site data, the information entered in forms, those things are not being saved by Chrome and Google, and this applies to most search engines today. They don't keep that information. However, if you notice, your activity might still be visible to websites that you visit, your employer or school, your internet service provider, and of course that list is hardly expansive or exhaustive. But to put this in perspective, it's not really as secure and private as you might think. It has its limitations using any type of private search, and there are very few browsers and softwares that can truly make you anonymous. So let's talk about some misconceptions that people believe about this. One is that I'm anonymous when I browse the web in incognito or quote unquote private browsing. The second might be that sites cannot track me in incognito mode. The third is Google shows the same result to everyone when incognito. And the fourth is that there is no proof that Google has a filter bubble influencing my search results. Well, I'm here to tell you that these are all false misconceptions. They're all false assumptions that are unverified at this point. And I'm going to talk through some of the things that we've discovered and that is pretty well known now about Google and how data is shown, search results are shown. So recent data in 2018 came through from a study that was conducted. It was in the privacy browser DuckDuckGo. The article was called Measuring the Filter Bubble, How Google is Influencing What You Click. Now, their idea behind this was to determine what was actually impacting what was being seen. But mind you that there were actually other noticeable things that came about from this, and we're gonna talk about that here. If we go into the parameters of how this test was conducted, they included many people from all across the United States. They conducted the test at the same time for everyone and received screenshots, which should have shown the time since it would be captured, with the whole screen. You usually have that on desktop, and the same goes for mobile and things of that nature as well. The test was conducted in Google while private browsing / incognito with varying browsers and devices, Chrome, Firefox, etc. And some even had cookie blockers. They did this on desktop and mobile, things of that nature. Now, if you look at the instructions that everyone was given in this survey or study, as it was, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 p.m. Pacific on Sunday, June 24th, they were instructed to go into Google and be fully incognito and logged out of everything. And they also were instructed to take a screenshot. And they were searching up gun control, immigration, and vaccinations, all highly controversial political topics. If you look at the background questions of determining what these people had that might vary from person to person, was which city and state are you located in, which browser and device are you using for the study, do you have a tracker blocker. You can see the full documentation as listed online in their online spreadsheets where you can download a copy yourself. Needless to say, I mean, there was so much variance between where everyone was located. I think you're probably going to be surprised to see the results of this study right in here. So when results came about and they saw the title, Google actually responded, and they said that the study's methodology and conclusions are flawed. They're based on the assumption that any difference in the search results are based on personalization. So They said this simply is not true. In fact, there are a number of factors that can lead to slight differences, including time and location, which this study doesn't appear to have controlled for effectively. So let's talk about that for a second. The first things first here, I just showed you they had instructions for all of their participants. Okay, so time, and they also put down location for variance and seeing what was shown. So that's not really accurate there in Google saying that. They had documentation to show that what they were doing was accurate. Google's first response after this to the study was that over the years, a myth has developed that Google search personalizes so much that for the same query, different people might get significantly different results from each other. This isn't the case. Results can differ, but usually for non-personalized reasons. Let's explore. Okay, so on that, after this, they said the following. Anyone who doesn't want personalization using account-based activity can disable it. This essentially proves that they do in fact have personalization. You can tick this and say, no, I don't want this to influence my results. The main issue I have with this response is that they are sending this in response to people in incognito. Okay, so this is only applicable if you talk about a search instance outside of private search. This should not be applying whatsoever during incognito, but I guess you'll make a judgment for yourself when you see some of the results here. One of the most common reasons results may differ between people involves localized results. When they talk about localizing results, they're talking about geographical differences. So someone located in San Diego, California versus Los Angeles are going to get different results because they're not located in the same place. That is what they're saying here. Okay, they're saying that results also differ slightly because of how dynamic and distributed our search system is. So they're saying it would vary because they have so many different results to show people. They're also saying that time is a factor. They said those who search a few hours or even minutes apart may see variations. We know that the test was completed at least within a minute of each other, at least for the first instance that they searched based upon this. So that doesn't really apply to rebuttal what DuckDuckGo has said. They also said results may differ slightly because of platform. They said on mobile, they prefer fast-loading mobile-friendly pages if content analysis is good or better than desktop versions. So just to put this perspective, in incognito, Google is stating it knows if you're in mobile or desktop, and it will actually cater your results accordingly for that. Okay, so we did actually see in the results from the study that people had a wide variety of platforms. There was desktop, some had mobile. I think there may even be them tablets and those as well. So it's very interesting to see them say that could be a variation. But when we see the data that comes through for this, there's a lot of questions that come up. First of all, they did 87 people searching Google for gun control at the same time from across the United States, logged out and in private browsing mode. They saw 19 domains ordered 31 ways. So to put this in perspective, we kind of get some questions here. Okay, one, wouldn't there be way more sites shown if location was a big factor like Google states? Because localization, they claim that is something that would be a part of it in, some of the results in this. But this also proves that Google is showing people different results in incognito. So not only are we seeing a two-edged point here, but there's even more that goes along with this. We see that private browsing and being logged out does not significantly reduce the filter bubble. Variation of private browsing across users. So this is very interesting. There are on average 3 domain changes. That's on average. Okay, that's not the standard. There could be more or less here. There are on average 3 domain changes when comparing 2 random private browsing mode results. Very interesting. Okay, easily provable there that when someone is searching, no matter the location, they are getting differences. Secondly, and here's another interesting part, variation of browsing modes for the same user. There was on average 1 domain change for a user in different browsing modes, which suggests Google maintains the filter bubble within private browsing mode. How is it possible that when you're going incognito, you have maybe 1 domain change when you've gone from incognito to just normal browsing? It's very interesting to see a study like that conducted and see a result. And this I bring up as another point in case you were wondering how some of this might be possible. In 2017, an article was published again by DuckDuckGo with many links and references talking about how when they first released their study on private browsing modes, a lot of people were shocked to see that websites could still track them even when they blocked cookies and used private browsing, aka incognito. They had information, links to go actually do this yourself. And they even described how this is done. Websites can look at version numbers of your browser, the plugins it uses, and dozens of other points of browser information to create a unique ID, a browser fingerprint that can be used to track you. So let's say you went into incognito, you clicked on a link, bam, now you're still being tracked even in incognito. If a site can track you in incognito and private browsing, why can't a browser? Google has actually received numerous lawsuits over this very issue. So the parameters for the test were quite thorough, and Google ignored vital points that the study brought up. One of them was that the study not only revealed that incognito didn't bring up the same results for everyone, but that even when Google was showing the same websites to people, the order that they were listed was not the same. Secondly, if Google truly stands by their statement that they will show different results to people in incognito based on their device, their IP, their physical location, why then were there not far more unique results to people around the country? Perhaps because Google is using a filter bubble, as DuckDuckGo believes. So what does this all mean? Even if Google is telling the truth about how they display results and had nothing to do with personalization or a filter bubble, that has never been proven. Google has never been able to prove that they don't have something like that in effect. The second thing is we cannot trust any kind of search engine results to reflect accurate results by using incognito or standard search in browsers, because it is clear search results vary user by user. So how then can anyone determine how their website is ranking, you might ask? Well, let me tell you how Wise is determining our clients' rankings without personalization getting in the way, without any of these random variables that might change our analysis and make it difficult for us to determine how are you appearing in the eyes of Google, how are you showing up. So we use a combination of smart software, no cookies. So we use tools that don't have any search history data or any preferences assigned to them by Google or kept in a cookie or tracked. We have software that does this, and we have tools that will actually do this geographically around the world. We can look anywhere now to find out keyword rankings and see how your business is appearing to Google. It's phenomenal, and our clients love this. On that note, I would like to extend an offer to you right now. If you are interested in gaining a new upper hand, a new advantage for your business in this technological age, it's time to get Wise. It's time to stop working harder and start working smarter here. We provide a plethora of amazing services in our agency, including SEO, as we've been talking about. We have paid ads, websites, brand identity, email marketing. We have much more, and we can give you a free consultation. Go to wisedigitalpartners.com right now and get your free consultation. We'll see you there.